Facebook, my Christmas Story Kill. Yes, I have been to the Christmas Story House in Cleveland, Ohio. If you're in the Northeast, especially if you're in Ohio, you have no excuse. Visit the Christmas Story House in Cleveland. They renovated the original house that they used to film the movie. Good stuff. Super fun. Take your kids. You'll enjoy it. If you don't enjoy it, then you have no soul, and I'm sorry for you. But those who have souls will enjoy it. All right. Jared, are we ready to begin?
Yeah.
Jared says we're ready to begin. Welcome to Student of the Gun University. I am your host, Professor Paul Markle, and we're going to continue our discussion about the Patriot Fire Team and what it takes to be ready. All right, on Monday, video number 1, we talked about finding LMIs, like-minded individuals. And then we gave you, if you went to patriotfireteam.com, right there, if you went there, you got a free download special report. Basically, it was the entire chapter 3 of the first book that you get for free. You're welcome. Now, yesterday, what did we talk about yesterday? We talked about setting a baseline, setting goals. What is my goal? What is the goal for our team? Okay. How are we going to achieve that goal? And part of that achievement is by creating baseline training, or making sure that everybody on the team has the same training, or at least a basic level of training upon which we can build. All right, fantastic. And yesterday we talked about gear confusion. We're going to move into today's video talking about gear confusion. Now you'll notice that gear was not video 1, because it's more important for you to have like-minded individuals that you can trust to support you and to have training than it is to have gear. Because most people, what will we do? Most people are out there and they say, hey, things aren't right in the world, I'm nervous and I'm going to go buy gear. I'm not going to find people to support me. I'm not going to get training. I'm going to buy gear. That's their first and only step. What I'm going to tell you is that before you go out and spend $100, $200, $1,000 on gear, pause, take a break, and I'm going to give you a couple of suggestions to avoid that box of regret. We talked about that yesterday. Everybody has that box of regret that has stuff in it that they don't use anymore. And the easiest way, but it's not easy because most people won't take this step, train. Now, when I say train, I don't mean buy a bunch of stuff, go to your local public range, stand on the square range, and shoot your stuff. That's not what training is. That's you standing out on a range. Oh, I do training all the time. My buddy's got about 10 acres. I drive out and we shoot. That's not training. Training is what you do under the watchful eye of a disciplined instructor or an instructor corps, or a whole cadre of instructors. You don't see what you're not doing correctly. You can't see yourself in order to make adjustments and improvements. You very likely will not push yourself beyond your comfort zone. That's the way humans are. Humans very rarely will push themselves beyond their comfort zone. They get to the point of discomfort and they stop. The only way you're going to be pushed beyond your comfort zone, that someone's going to be able to critique you and say, hey, you might want to try doing it this way, you might have some more success, is if you attend training. Now you're like, Paul, we're talking about gear, we're not talking about that. Yes, training is where you find out what gear works and what gear is junk. Yeah. Most of your gear, if you just buy it, go to the square range, or you sit on the concrete bench at your local shooting club, you're never going to know if that gear is, unless it's just a total piece of crap. But if you want to know what your gear can actually do under real world circumstances, you need to go to training. You say, but Paul, if I buy the gear and I go to training and it's crap, then I'll know. No, stop. When you go to the training class, what I want you to do, read the list. I have to read the list? Yes. Every school you go to, every quality professional firearms training school, I don't care where it is, will have the list. and they will say, bring these things at a minimum. Bang, 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 right? But what they don't say is go to, Cheaper Than Dirt or Cabela's or Brownells or whatever. They don't say go there and spend $1,000 in widgets and gadgets and gee whizzes and bolt them onto your gun and buy 50 pounds of gear to wear. They don't tell you to do that. They give you the minimum gear list. Go to the class. Go through 48 hours of real training, 2 days worth of real training. And then when you get onto the other side of that, you will have some actual practical knowledge and experience to apply to your gear choices. You might come out on the other hand and say, you know what? I would have had a lot more success if I would have bought blank. Or I bought this flashlight because the school said I had to have a light, so I went to the auto parts store and I paid $12 for a light, and I thought, that's good to go. And then I got halfway through the class and realized that it wasn't going to work for me. Or I had to shoot in a shoot house or in the dark or in deep shadows, and I realized, wow, the sights on my handgun are dark black, and I was trying to shoot at a target at the end of a hallway that was filled with shadow, and I couldn't find my front sight. Maybe I might want to change the sights on my gun. Get some experience, get some actual real world experience before you dump hundreds of dollars into gear. Otherwise, you're going to end up with that Rubbermaid tote full of bad decisions and regret. Okay? Now, another way you can do it is you can get with people that have been there and done that and listen to them. People that you actually trust, whose opinions you trust, and say, hey, what do you think about X? What do you think about Y? What do you think about Z? Now, we can what if it to death. Obviously, you can do that. There's so much out there. And this is where the gear confusion comes into play. You look up laser sight, and there's not one, there's not two, there's innumerable laser sighting systems. There's red ones, there's green ones, there's bolt-on ones, there's ones that replace your op rod. There's all kinds of stuff. And I know it's recoil spring guide. And you get to the point you're like, God, I don't even know what to buy. I don't know why I should buy it. I got that. And that's common. So what do? Well, number one, train. Actually go out and get some real world experience training and doing. And then you'll know what is quality gear and what's garbage. And if you don't have the opportunity to do that and you still need to buy some stuff, consult with people whose opinions you respect, or find people whose opinions you respect and consult them about it. Okay, so enough gear talk right now. Tomorrow what we're going to talk about is, all right, we've got the LMIs. We got 4 LMIs, right? Like-minded individuals. We're going to do training. We've all pledged to ourselves that we're all going to get into X, Y, Z course. We're going to do that. Okay, great. We're not going to buy a ton of gear yet. We're going to buy some essentials, but we're going to wait before we spend money on lasers and optics and all kinds of stuff. Okay, good. The next big thing is, how do we get 4 individuals or LMIs? How do we get them to all work together as a cohesive unit? There's a big difference between 4 individual people that all have individual ideas about how stuff should happen and an actual team. A team works together. A team works off each other. They are a mutual benefit to each other, as opposed to just 4 people that own guns. I know 3 other people that own guns. You're like, well, we're all gun owners, so we should all know what to do, right? Really? Let there be a crisis. Let there be some kind of this issue, floods, riots, whatever. And you got 4 gun owners. Go out and try and work as a team. Everybody's got their own ideas, everyone's got their own missions, everyone's got their own parameters. How do we get 4 like-minded individuals to work together as a team? And that is what we're going to talk about tomorrow at 11 Central Daylight Time, right here at Student of the Gun University. Now, before I let you turkeys go, I want you to go to patriotfireteam.com, and at the bottom, right below this video, there's a button, and you can click it and download an article that I wrote, a special report about lasers. Do I have to do this?
Yeah.
Lasers. About laser sights.
So
myth and mythology and reality.
A quick administrative note for you guys that go there before I actually get this video on the site. We had technical difficulties with the live video, so right now if you go underneath
YouTube.
the title, the green title that says video 3 of 4, Cutting Through the Clutter, there's a link to watch the video from the beginning, and then there's also an orange button that says click here to download your free report on laser sights. That is the button that you click to get your free report on laser sights. So
Is that how that works?
yeah, that's how that works.
Okay. Quick Q&A.
Yeah, we're good. 2 minutes to ask the first question, and then 5 minutes total. So go.
Boxer briefs, purple. She's gonna let that one go. She's gonna let it go.
She probably can't hear you. Oh yeah, she's got her. Yeah.
How's it going, everybody?
Now that I have a good quality knife in my pocket, how do I keep it sharp?
The Spyderco Sharp Maker. You're like, oh, I checked into those. Those are like $60. Okay, it's the last sharpening tool you'll ever have to buy. The Spyderco Sharp Maker kit. You buy the kit. It's like $60 or something. You're like, oh my God! Shut up for a second. You will anything with an edge in your house, except for maybe axes, and you could probably do an axe too. Anything that with an edge in your house that you want to make sharp again, scissors, fingernail clippers, potato peelers, steak knives, your pocket knife, chisels, fish hooks, needles, everything. There's a video series, and here's what you're gonna do. You're gonna buy it, you're gonna watch the video series, and you're gonna run around your house, and you're going to sharpen everything you can get your hands on. I sharpened my wife's potato peeler that she had for 15 years. And we're in there peeling carrots and potatoes like crazy people. Woo!
What sights do you recommend on the M4?
On an M4, you mean red dot optics or iron?
Probably iron.
Iron, any will work. Most of the ones that come with it will work. If you want to be able to see it in the dark, then you might want to go over to XS and see what they've got. XS actually has big dots for rifles, and they have posts for rifles, for AKs and for ARs.
Okay. We're getting a bunch of gear questions, so I think what we should do is take all of these questions and put them into a radio episode.
Well, it's almost like somebody wrote a book where they answered gear questions.
Did they? Did you?
Somebody.
Oh, huh.
Somebody.
Imagine that.
I don't know. It's great.
So, let me see. There was another one here.
The Last Tactical Tutor newsletter. Jared, what did I talk about in the Last Tactical Tutor?
I don't know. I just posted
Optics.
it.
We talked about the Last Tactical Tutor, or actually for the month of August. In the Tactical Tutor, I broke down the 3 most popular different types of rifle optics, and that would be the Trijicon ACOG, the EOTech, and the Aimpoint optics, and the pluses and minuses for each individual unit. And if you're a member of the grant program, you would have that, and you would read it, and you'd have that information in your hands right now.
Yep.
Isn't that crazy how that works?
And you can actually do that for free right now.
I know, it's crazy how I make all this information.
Clayton Birkland. We know that name.
What
He
do you do,
says,
freak?
Crimson Trace grip replacements worth the money, question mark.
If you're going to train with it, and yeah.
Jan asked the same question yesterday, so what do you think about the Glock 43 for EDC?
Yes.
Train with it and figure it out if it works for you.
If it works for you, rock on.
What's your take on AR versus AK?
Yes.
How bright is too bright for a flashlight? That was Ryan Barker. Give him the yardage.
Okay. What do you want to see? Do you want to see 50 feet? Do you want to see 50 yards, 100 yards, 200 yards? If all you think you need to see is like 50 yards in, basically it's 2 lumen per yard of clarity. So if you want to see something, if you want to be able to ID something 50 yards in complete darkness, you need at least 100 lumen, right? 100 lumen is I would say is the benchmark. Let me reach in my pocket here. My Surefire backup light. This one is, I think it's 120 lumen. What does it look like, 120 lumen to you guys? This is a good benchmark. Now, are there bigger lights and more powerful lights? Yeah, there are. The only issue that you would have with super bright lights, like if you have a 500 lumen on a house rifle and you illuminate that thing 2 feet from a wall, you're gonna blind yourself. You're just gonna wash out. So you need to know that. Or sand. Remember that?
2 more questions. Well, I just lost it. Any tips for inspiring the rest of your team to commit to training?
Any tips? Okay, well, if they're genuinely like-minded individuals, they should be down with that. If you think you have like-minded individuals and you say, hey guys, let's go ahead and plan, some training, and then they start digging their heels in and making excuses, oh, time, money, this, that. If the first place they go is to tell you why they can't, they're not serious. Broom them.
Scrub them.
Scrub them.
Okay, what should we buy before the upcoming election period so that we are prepared for a not so desirable result? So basically, if they start banning stuff, what should they get a hold of before they start banning it?
Well, I mean, I would say everything, but what have we been doing all summer, Jared? The ammo can challenge,
yep.
Right? I said take an empty ammo can, and by September 1st, I want it to be full. For the grad program, we did the Rubbermaid tub challenge, a 17-gallon tub. And I told all you guys way back like 2 months ago, before September 1st, I want you to have at least one Rubbermaid tub. And you know what, Jared? You know what we got? Some people said, oh, that's dumb. I have a cabinet, I've got all my stuff. When your house floods and there's 3 feet of water in it, can you take the cabinet and put it on your back and load it onto a truck and take it with you? No, but you can take a Rubbermaid tub, grab 2 handles, throw it on the back of a truck or boat, and go and take that with you. That's crazy. That's crazy. I can tell you this, Jared. Should I tell them about the medical gear?
Sure.
I don't know what's going on in the emergency trauma medical gear world right now, but you guys know we do pocket lifesavers, and the pocket lifesavers are a conglomeration of parts. And what we have to do is we have to reach out to this manufacturer and this one, and we get parts and pieces from all over, and we put them all together. Unfortunately, we don't have one supplier that gives us everything. I've been encountering out of stock with tourniquets and decomp needles and so forth. Not a lot, but more than the normal. We've been doing the pocket lifesaver for about 3 years now, Jared. And all of a sudden, I'm going to order components, and they're coming back to me as out of stock, which is unusual. And I'm not trying to scare you. I'm just telling you this is a fact. I don't know. Maybe it was a one-time thing, but if you think you need to have something, you look at an area and you say, I can't live without that, whatever that is, whatever that X is. If you can't live without a that, you better make sure you got a that now. That's all I'm saying.
All right, one more question from Facebook. When did you get your kids on the AR platform? And then I have to go to YouTube because I was kind of
My kids?
neglecting them. Yeah.
When I get them on it?
When did you first introduce your kids to the AR platform?
You were about 10. Jared was about 10. Jared was about 10. Paxton was probably 9 or 10. Zach was probably about the same age. In the 9, 10.
All right, YouTube. What is the grad program?
Go to
studentofthegun.com
Listen.
right now. Randy, go to studentofthegun.com, and that will tell you exactly what the grad program is. Thank you, Scott, for telling him. Grad is the greatest thing ever. Thank you, Ben. Unfiltered awesomeness. How do I become a grad member? Go to studentofthegun.com. Jared can help you out. No, I can't. Google Student of the Gun. All right. I thought there were more questions, but there weren't. So.
All right, that's it. Where are you going to be tomorrow morning at 11 Central Daylight Time? Right here at Student of the Gun University.